Welcome back. I swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help me God. Every day, this is repeated in courtrooms all across America by people who are asked to place their hands on the Bible. But in North Carolina, the ACLU filed a lawsuit for a local woman who wanted to use the Koran instead of the Bible. And last week, the Court of Appeals says the case has merit and will be allowed. Should you be able to use any religious book before testifying? We're joined by Minister Quanell X of the new Black Panther Nation and Matt Barber, Policy Director for Cultural Issues, a like-minded man with Concerned Women for America. Minister, we'll start with you. I mean, what are we fighting about, this long-time tradition of having people go in the courtroom? I mean, Perry Mason, back, when I was a kid for 200 years plus, you put your hand on the Bible and you swear to tell the truth. Why are we arguing about this?
I don't believe it's really an argument, but what I do believe it's a faith and the principle of someone having their faith represented in a courtroom. When someone says, I swear to tell the truth and the whole truth and nothing but the truth to help you God, if I am a Muslim, give me the Holy Quran, I take that oath and on that Holy Quran. But if I am a Christian, then give me the Bible. But to give a Christian the Quran or a Muslim the Bible is offensive to either one, so we should include everybody's faith in that manner in a courtroom.
All right, good. But Minister, listen, I mean, this is a tradition more than it is and a part of our culture more than it is a religious issue here. And if I went to Saudi Arabia or I went, to Iran and I said, hey, I'd like to have a Bible, what do you think they'd tell me?
In the Iranian courts, according to Shahara law, if a Christian is being tried in a Muslim courtroom, he or she has a right to have the Bible brought in, and they take their oath on the Bible. Yes, sir.
Very interesting. I was totally unaware of that, but I can tell you in many places in the Muslim world, I don't think we're going to find them saying, oh, go ahead, because, in a lot of places where radicals are, they say there's nothing worse than Christians and Jews. I know you're aware of that. But, Matt, let me ask you this. I sort of look at this as another attack on the kind of the cultural road signs. Here's what I mean. There are people who don't want to sing the Star-Spangled Banner. There are people that don't want to do the Pledge of Allegiance. There are people that now there's restaurants that'll take pesos rather than dollars. There's a big fight about whether people should have to speak English or whether they can, all the bilingual education. It seems to me we have an attack on sort of the basic things in America that hold us together. And I got the feeling we're losing it.
Sure. Well, first of all, let me say that I think opposition to this doesn't represent any hostility toward the Koran or toward Islam. What it does recognize is the reality that our nation, our unique American culture, was founded on the precepts of the Judeo-Christian tradition, specifically the principles found within the Bible. And so when a person comes in to swear an oath or to testify in court, first of all, they're not even compelled to swear an oath on any book. But our tradition is held, as you mentioned, John, for over 200 years, as first initiated by George Washington, that we use the Bible because the Bible, again, represents our system of values.
But see, Matt, I don't even think it's a religious issue. I think it's common sense. It's the things that tie us together. I mean, people don't want to stand up and sing the Star-Spangled Banner, Minister. They don't want to, they don't want to do the Pledge of Allegiance. They don't want to learn English, I mean, don't you think there's so many things that are pulling us apart? We got to focus on the things that pull us together as Americans.
But, John, as a black man, I want you to understand that today was built from yesterday, and tomorrow's built to determine what we do today. When we wrote in the Star-Spangled Banner, black people were still slaves in this nation. When we took the Pledge of Allegiance in this country, black people were still slaves in this nation. So until the Pledge of Allegiance and the Star-Spangled Banner represents every person and people in this country, well, then let's not uphold it as though it's something fair and equitable for everyone, sir.
But let me tell you, one of the great American traditions is all people are treated equal. That's why there's
but that's never been the case in America for black people, sir.
Let me just, that's why people in this country demanded civil rights for African Americans, because that's a great tradition. And now I think in America we're breaking into enclaves. It's this group and that group. Yeah, go ahead. You get the last word here, Matt.
Yeah, this has nothing to do with black or white or any kind of religious differences. What this has to do with, as you mentioned, John, is tradition. position. And I think that this is really just an act of hubris on the part of the ACLU. This is another attempt by the ACLU to inject their own brand of secular humanism, of pluralism and cultural diversity on our nation, and to try to create an America in their own image rather than in the image that our founding fathers and that our unique Judeo-Christian heritage has set forth over the generations.
All right, we're out of time. I want to thank you both. My point, guys, is this. We got so many things that are dividing us today in America. We're not as connected as we used to be, and I think most Americans agree with that. And there's some common sense things that tie us together, and we got to reject the nonsense that divides us. I want to thank you both.